this is my second ever warp. If you've seen my first few videos, you'll know that I really struggled when I was trying twill with the Selvedges. So I thought this time I'd try some floating Selvedges. So basically what I've done is I've attached them to the warp like normal, just done one extra thread on each end. And instead of adding them through a heddle as part of the pattern, I've just left them with no heddle and just put them each through one dent on the outside edges of the reed. I don't know if I'd mentioned about the using S hooks on the end, and that this warp's quite short, but if it was longer, it would be helpful to hang the S hook over the back of the loom, kind of on the table. I don't think it needs to drop off the edge of the table, but just to add a bit more tension to those two yarns, you know, if I needed it. But it's pretty short. I'm nearly done with this one, to be honest. So I've been attempting some different twills. This is one, so I'll just show you that before I show you using the floating Selvedges. So I've had a go at this one. It's in this Hand Weaver's pattern book on page 38. It's supposed to look like this, but obviously it doesn't. But that's because it's a really textured thread. But I really like how it looks anyway. I mean, I'm going to have to refill the bobbin in a second. But and basically, it took me a while to get my head around this. I don't know what it's called. Is it a lift pattern? Pattern lift? I don't know. I tried this one first and used a ruler to work out, and just for ease I just wrote myself some instructions, and I've done the same for this one. I don't know what other people do, but it just feels so much easier to me. I've tried a load of other twills which I've got on the cloth beam at the minute, and just so that I wasn't weaving loads of samples that I couldn't then do anything with, I've used a piece of string to measure a length that hopefully will be wide enough to make a journal cover with, and just so that I can then have a play really with making the cloth into something. So obviously I need to wet finish it and then see. But let me just show you the floating selvage and what I've done with it. So we want to start with 1 and 4. So I'm going over the floating selvage on the way in and under on the way out. And my bobbin winding skills are not the best. Seems to often just get taffled up or fall off the end, so need to get a bit better at that. So if anyone has any tips, let me know. Yeah, I try and avoid getting too close to the end. Obviously I have with this one, but anyway, let me get on to this. So I'm getting near the end of this warp, which is good, because what I'll do when I get to near the end is do a bit of a video of unravelling it and then show you the different twills that I've had a go at. It'd be really good to, I mean, I don't think they've got names in terms of, well, they probably have got names, but this book doesn't seem to have names. I mean, these apparently are mixed twills, but it would be really good to have a name for them. I don't know what I'd call this one, but yeah, names would be helpful. Okay, and then I'm just going to do a 3 and tuck that in. I'll weave a bit more until I finished the warp, and then I will film taking it off the loom, because that's always an exciting moment, and then we can have a look at what twills that I've done. But yeah, these ones are page 36 mixed twills, the sort of middle one and then the bottom one. I've woven as much as I can. My bobbin, as you can see, has got ridiculously taffled up, so I'm abandoning that for now. And I'm going to cut this off and we will do the reveal of the cloth. So cut this off. I haven't done hem stitch or anything, probably should have, but I'm going to try and stitch it on the sewing machine fairly quickly, but maybe I'll tie knots in the meantime. Okay, so This was the last twill that I was doing. I need to release that. These are the two of the same twills, but with the different coloured yarn. They look very different, and that's the same as well, but again, looks very different. Love this yarn. It's this sort of boucle, is it, yarn? Lovely, lovely stuff. That was a test. Not sure I wanted to use it for a journal, but it came out quite nice. More of that yellow yarn. 2 twill just in the linen and wool. Probably should. It's just going to have a messy pile, never mind. And then that's the beginning, so that's it. I'll do some close-ups of each one, but it'd be really good to know what your favourite twills are. I'm just getting into it, obviously only my second warp, and I definitely like the different textures. So yeah, let me know what you like. So I started off with a simple 2 twill with the flax and wool. Then I moved on to trying some twill going one direction and then the other with this varying thickness yarn in this lovely lemony colour. I tried the same idea with multiple yarns in one go, which I liked, but I didn't really want to make a whole journal out of it. So I swapped to this lovely boucle yarn and did the same thing. This is shown on the side, so not how you'd see it on the loom, but how you'd see it off the loom afterwards. Then I switched to this blue yarn, and although this looks very similar, I changed it so that the edges of the chevrons are actually staggered a bit just to change up the pattern, and I really like how it came out, so I'm definitely going to do that version of the 2 twill kind of chevron style again. Next I tried a mixed twill in 3 different yarns, which I mentioned. That's on page 38. And I moved on to this yellow yarn again, which is the smaller chevron kind of one. It's another mixed twill.